Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be continuing into part 13 of What If Goku Was Born as a Super Saiyan. If you haven't seen part 12, there's a title card where you can go check out and see what happened in the last part, but we'll be going into the baby arc. What will both Jaima and Monaito do before the others arrive? How did the situation get this bad? Will the others be able to save their race? For those who are interested, I own a Discord server for anyone who wants to join and talk more about Dragon Ball with me and other viewers. Maybe give out some of your own ideas of what ifs and maybe in the future I could do them. Check the link in the description down below. Before we get into the video, today's comment of the video is from Overheated Frost. His question is, if I had to choose one place to train and get all the techniques, what would it be? Earth, Yardred, or the Supreme Kai planet? Now I'm trying to think all the techniques from Earth, and I don't know if he means like, you know, the Kamehameha wave or like basically like all the techniques that I would consider the humans were to have, and not just every fighter on Earth, which would kind of be a little broken, or just the techniques that you can learn from Earth, which are, I'm guessing, like, you know, the humans who have all these techniques. The Yardrats do have some of the best techniques, I would say, more useful ones. The Supreme Kai planet, I'm gonna be honest, that one is gonna be gone because all they have is basically just a better instant transmission, but that's about it. I don't know if people would consider the unleash the mystic form as a technique, but I consider it as a transformation. So the Supreme Kai planet is probably gone. If I had to choose really between Earth or Yardred, I'd probably do Yardred because there's more useful techniques. There might be some that might not be as useful, like Force Spirit Fission. Cloning be pretty useful. Instant transmission pretty useful, and healing would also be pretty useful. And Objectification. Just the Force Spirit Fission is the only one that's not useful. I would find those four abilities pretty cool to have. So yeah, that would be my answer. I would probably go to Yardred to get all the techniques. Thank you again for the comment. If you want your comment to be featured in the next video, just leave a comment down with a question of anything you want to know. It could be something you want to know about me, about Dragon Ball, anything, it don't matter. And maybe you'll be lucky enough for your comment to be featured in the next video. Without further ado, let's dive into part 13 of What If Goku Was Born as a Super Saiyan. Where we last left off, Jaima hid inside a cave and was met with Monaito, as they are the last two people who have not been in the control of Baby. Before we continue, we have to dive in with how it all began. Once Baby had landed on planet Bardock, he was able to sneak throughout the planet, controlling different Saiyans, and even got to some of the royal Saiyans that would protect the palace, and eventually ended up inside the royal palace and saw Raditz training with Bardock Jr. and Jaima. During the training session, Bardock Jr. would shoot a Destructo Disc that actually cuts Raditz a little bit. Seeing this, Baby would smile, as if he got the control of the King of the Saiyans, he would have his revenge on the Saiyans. Baby would then attack the three Saiyans with all the Saiyans he is controlling. The three are confused on why these Saiyans are attacking them, but they all transformed into their Super Saiyan state and were beginning to win the fight. But while the fight was going on, Baby would transfer himself inside Raditz's cut and soon gain control of Raditz. But Bardock Jr. saw it all. He would go by Jaima to go warn him that the enemy they are fighting can gain control of you if he manages to get into your system from any injuries. Then now, the controlled Raditz would begin fighting both Jaima and Bardock Jr. They are much weaker than Raditz, so Bardock Jr. would tell Jaima that they must work together and fight smart in order to stand a chance against Raditz. Jaima brushes it off, still not liking the idea, and would just rush down at Raditz, but that did not work out well as he was getting beaten badly until Bardock Jr. came in with the save, shooting a Destructo Disc at Raditz, which he dodged. Bardock Jr. would then yell at Jaima that he must work with him to let them have a chance, but Jaima still refused to do so. Raditz would grab a hold of Bardock Jr. and begin to attack him and toss him around, beating him. Jaima would try to jump in to attack, but Raditz paid him no mind and just swatted him away with his tail. Jaima would get up seeing Baby getting control of Bardock Jr., and for the first time Jaima felt helpless and fearful, almost not being able to move his body. The last thing he heard was Bardock Jr. telling him to run away and to get to somewhere safe before he is taken over as well. Jaima would manage to get himself to begin to fly as he would head to the city, but would see that everywhere he goes, the Saiyans are being attacked by the ones who are under control. He would start to fight them off to help out anyone he can, but soon he would be overrun with the sheer amount of Saiyans that begin to get taken over. Seeing how he couldn't save anyone, he would fly away, and that's where we are now being chased, as he would lose them and meet up with Monaito. Monaito would ask Jaima about everything he knows of the enemy, and hearing that he can gain control of almost anyone scares him. Monaito would also heal up Jaima and says that they may be the only ones left on the planet that could stop Baby. Jaima looks down in sadness, starting to tear up, saying there's no hope. He allowed his pride to take over, and he is the reason why Bardock Jr. is taking over with his father. If he only worked with him, and together they could have taken down Raditz and stopped Baby. He won't be strong enough to take down Raditz or the entire army alone. Monaito would calm his worries, telling him that not all hope is lost, as they could get the Dragon Balls to revert all this, or that the others would arrive and save them, but for now they must sit tight and see how things play out. This got Jaima thinking about the Dragon Balls. He knows where his father and Raditz kept them, as it is in a place in the palace, but he knows that Monaito would not allow him to go, but he knows that he must make up for his past mistakes. Once it hits night, he would quietly leave and sneak to the palace. He would lower his power level so no one could sense him, but he also had to make sure no one could see him. He didn't trust anyone, as they could all be mind controlled. He would arrive at the palace as he sees his uncle Raditz, but he looks completely different, with having white hair. He would continue to sneak into the palace and manage to find the room where the Dragon Balls are kept, but to his shock, the Dragon Balls are missing, as when he turns around he sees a mind-controlled Bardock Jr. saying that he knew he might have tried something with the Dragon Balls, so he hid them away. He calls Jaima lucky that he couldn't summon the dragon, as it is protected by some Namekian code, but once he finds the Namekian, this planet and its race would be doomed. Jaima knows he has to stop Baby now, but he isn't too sure how long he could last. He has no doubt he can take on Bardock Jr. and almost anyone on the planet, but if they outnumber him, it's over. And he knows he cannot take on Raditz on his own, but he has to last as long as he can and hope that the others will return soon. Jaima powers up into his Super Saiyan form and begins to rush at Bardock Jr. He too would transform into a Super Saiyan and their brawl would begin. Jaima knows he doesn't have much time until either backup or Raditz arrives, so he would go all out on Bardock Jr., aiming to take him down quickly. With Baby, I feel like he wouldn't be as good as using the techniques that Bardock Jr. learned, so overall, with being overpowered by Jaima, he would be knocked out rather quickly, as Jaima would apologize to his cousin for hurting him. Once he deals with Bardock Jr., he hears the voice of Raditz as he turns around and gets punched, sending him flying through the building. Jaima gets up slowly, being really hurt. He didn't know how much stronger Raditz has gotten with the training with Beerus. He knows he won't last long, but he doesn't back down. He pushes himself to his limit, thinking about how he treated the people weaker than him and how wrong he was with the way of getting stronger. He apologizes to his cousin and how he treated him, and how he is the reason he got taken over. All these emotions allowed him to tap into the Super Saiyan 2 state. He gets into a fighting stance ready to fight, telling himself that he must hold out until the others arrive, even if it gets himself killed. He charges right at Baby Raditz, and their fight begins. Baby didn't realize how much of a boost Jaima has gotten, so at the start he would be getting pushed back, but slowly he would recover, powering up further and surpassing Jaima's strength. Jaima knew he wouldn't be stronger than Raditz, so he began to use techniques that he saw during his time at the Supreme Kai's planet, using a mixture of Krillin's Destructo Disc and Yamcha's Spirit Ball to mess with Baby. Jaima was even able to use the Kai during the battle. He was impressed with himself that even though he only witnessed them use the attacks, he was able to copy it on his own. He begins to see how he was different from his father, and could someday surpass him, but he doesn't let it get to his head yet, as he still was in a dangerous battle. Even with all the techniques that Jaima knew, it was slowly starting to not be as effective, as Baby was adapting and even powering up into his next transformation. Soon, Jaima was losing and being beaten within an inch of his life. Baby grabbed him by the neck, telling him he isn't worth mind controlling, and he would just give him a painful death. Now with no one to stop him, the Saiyan race is finished. But then Jaima disappears from Baby's hands, as he looks over to see Kakarot holding his son, telling him he is proud of him for holding on as long as he could, but now they will handle it. Kakarot would ask Whis to look out for his son while they handle this threat. Whis would ask Beerus if they should help out, but Beerus refuses, saying he wants to see how strong these fighters have gotten with their training. Seeing how strong they are, Baby gets a little nervous, so he would summon the entire Saiyan race he has under control. Vegeta powers up into his Super Saiyan Prime form, ready to fight, but Kakarot would stop him, saying that they cannot go all out, as these are their people and friends. Vegeta would scoff at this, but would power down just in his Saiyan Prime form, but heavily suppresses his real power. Kakarot would say that he would face off Baby, as it is his brother, which no one would argue. They all fly off to fight off the army of controlled Saiyans. Kakarot asks Baby why he is doing this, as the Saiyans are now a reformed race. Baby laughs, saying that his race was completely taken down before this reformed race began, and it doesn't matter as he still wants revenge. Kakarot knows he cannot go all out, as it is his brother, but he can't sense that Baby did give his existing power a boost, so he transforms into his Super Saiyan God form, but would hold back. Their fight would begin now. Baby was close in power with Super Saiyan God Kakarot, but since he is holding back, Baby would take this to his advantage and begin winning the fight between the two. Baby can tell that Kakarot is holding back, So what he would do is create an artificial moon so that he can transform into the Great Ape form, and so will the others under his control. Kakarot seeing this, he would try to stop Baby, but he was too late, as the moon was created and Baby began to grow into the Great Ape form, and so did his army. This makes every Saiyan have to cover their eyes so they too do not convert into the Great Ape. Besides Broly, Kakarot would tell Granola and Broly to destroy the moon, but they are struggling to do so fighting this many Great Apes, and even two that are golden, which are Tarbell and Bardock Jr. Everyone begins to get beaten up by the Great Apes, especially Goku while fighting Baby, but Granola would manage to break the moon, which everyone would begin reverting back, but Baby laughs, saying that he just needed the moon to get into his final transformation. Baby powers up as a glowing ball forms around him, and a bright light emits from him that blinds everyone. Everyone felt his power and were stunned, so Kakarot stopped holding back, and so he would transform into his Super Saiyan Blue transformation and started fighting Baby. Kakarot would tell Granola that he needs to go find Monaito and find the Dragon Balls to fix this. Everyone is fighting, but they are struggling as they do not want to hurt anyone too badly. Kakarot and Baby are close in power, but Kakarot manages to stay on top, but he doesn't know for how long he can do so, as he can't just kill his own brother. Granola would find Monaito in a cave and tell him that they need to find the Dragon Balls as they need to head to the palace, as Baby couldn't have hit it far from there. The fight from the planet continues. Beers would yell at Kakarot to use the new form he has been hiding from everyone else, which shocked them as they didn't know that he has a new transformation. Kakarot knows he could win, but he is too worried about his brother and he isn't sure for how long he could hold the form, so he is saving it until he really needs to use it. Jaima would warn his father that if Baby cuts him and enters his body, he could try to control him. Hearing this, Kakarot is more careful, as if he gets under control, it would be bad for everyone, as the only person who could possibly take him down would be Broly, but if Baby manages to get control of him as well, everyone is doomed. He is risking it all, but he isn't going to take out his brother, and he tries to think what Bardock would have done in this situation, as he continues to try to hold his own against Raditz. Then suddenly, the sky would turn dark, as this would put a scared look on Baby's face. As we turn over to Granola and Monaito, as they would make a wish for everyone to be brought back out of the mind control of Baby. The dragon would say that they could grant a wish for everyone but Raditz, since that is the main host of Baby, and it far exceeds the power of the dragon. They would take the wish and hope that Kakarot would be able to think of something. Once the sky would return to normal, Kakarot would see everyone go back to normal except Raditz, and he grew worried once again. Baby laughs, saying that he failed to wish everyone back to normal. Kakarot gets frustrated, not knowing what to do, but then he would get an idea. It's risky, but if he wanted to save his brother, he must. They would continue to fight, and Kakarot would power up into his new transformation, Ultra Ego. This power amazes everyone, and gets Baby to want to gain control to the new strongest fighter. Kakarot would allow Baby to cut him and enter his body. Then Kakarot begins to fight Baby over the control of his body, like he did in GT. Kakarot would power up in his Ultra Ego form, and manages to overpower Baby, making him leave his body. As he would begin to run away panicking, Kakarot would then raise his hand and say Hakai, as he erases Baby completely. Beerus smirks, being happy to see how much his student has come and feeling the amount of power that Kakarot has. Vegeta is quite stunned with the power, but knows he is training for something that can rival that power. Kakarot would power down and go to his brother, as Raditz apologizes for putting the planet at risk, but he tells his brother not to worry as everyone is safe and alive. Everyone is glad that things are back to normal, especially when Granola and Monaito heard the news of their victory. And that's where we leave off for now. Tell me how you think about the 13th part and how I did with the Baby arc. Will the Tournament of Power be coming up for these fighters? If that is the case, who do y'all think would make up the 10 fighters? Could they come out on top in this alternate reality? What could have happened differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. If y'all are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post another part. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next part. See ya.